Well, Russia launched 550 drones and missiles across Ukraine overnight. At least 23 people were injured. Air raid alerts lasting all night long. Damage recorded in at least 6 of the capital Kyiv's 10 districts. It marks Moscow's largest missile and drone attack since a full-scale war began, and it came just hours after Donald Trump had spoken to Vladimir Putin about ways to end the war. For more, let's speak to our correspondent, Emmanuel Shaz. Hello to you. Emmanuel, it seems like every week now we're reporting on how Russia has carried out its new biggest attack since the war began. What more can you tell us about these latest strikes?
Well, indeed, it is a new record for Russia in its war against Ukraine. Over 530 drones, a dozen missiles launched at the country, but principally it was Kyiv that was the target. And last night really was hell. The alert started at around 5 p.m. There was a reconnaissance drone first, and then dozens of drones started to lash out. They came from the northeast, mostly, and the northern part of Ukraine, and in fact it has just been hours of explosions across the city, and you could hear when drones were also changing altitude, changing directions, and that made it much more complicated for the Ukrainian air defense to intercept them. And this is exactly precisely the worry of the Ukrainian government, of the Ukrainian population, which has to live under those bombs, is that Kyiv will not have sufficient means to stop those barrages of drones, because there's one of the aims of those strikes, which is to saturate air defense, and in some cases it does succeed. And one more thing on this strike, those strikes against the capital overnight. Here you will not see it on the screen, but here it is simply unbreathable. Authorities recommended to every citizen here to stay at home as much as possible because of the particles that we can feel in the air following all those fires that started after drones, missile debris fell, sometimes on residential buildings. 20 people have been injured. There's extensive damage also on infrastructures, railway infrastructures as well, leading to traffic delays, congestions also in the streets. So it's just another night of hell for people here in Ukraine, and particularly here in the capital.
Yeah, and Emmanuel, all this coming, of course, after Donald Trump spoke to Vladimir Putin. Peace talks not making any progress.
Not making any progress. And this morning, when President Zelensky talked about the overnight strikes, he pointed that actually the air raid alerts and the air raids launched by Russia started just as the phone call between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin started. For Ukraine, what Vladimir Putin seems to have said to Donald Trump is not surprising at all. Here on the ground, there is no sign of Russia wanting to implement a ceasefire. On the contrary, we see that Russia is increasing the amount of strikes, especially against civilian infrastructures. This has several goals. Of course, there's destruction, but also there is an attempt to demoralize society and to try and force Kyiv into capitulation. It just won't happen yet. You can see, even despite the authorities' warnings, life continues. People go to work in the morning, even if they had a sleepless night, and people are simply not ready to give up just yet, especially since, for example, Volodymyr Zelensky offered several times to the U.S. to buy the air defense systems that are so much needed here in Ukraine. Now, Ukraine will try and find a way of getting those air defense systems, be it by buying to the United States, be it by trying to use other systems as well, given by some of other allies of Kyiv. But of course, there's the worry that the more of those strikes we will see, the less the Ukrainian air defense will manage to efficiently intercept missiles and drones.